everyone, it's Stephanie here, and today I wanted to share a video showing how I created a card that I shared on my blog about a week ago that used this great wood grain paper from the January Simon Says stamp card kit. I don't know if you can tell in the video quite yet, but that paper there is actually the wood grain textured paper that you get in the kit, and I had changed that paper to brown for one of the cards that I created that you can check out on my blog if you want to see it. And I had a couple questions on how I did the inking on it to get it to take on that brown color. So I just want to show that here, and I'm just starting off with Gathered Twigs Distress Ink and a mixture of water and Perfect Pearls in that spritzer bottle, and I'm just using my craft sheet and mixing that together to give it a more watery texture, and I'm just going to literally paint it right onto the paper. And you want to put a lot of water on it first, just because when the paper's dry, the ink doesn't spread as easily. So just kind of play around with it and add the ink and the water together to get the consistency that you need to get it started, and then just go ahead and paint over the whole surface. And then you'll see here I had less water and more ink when I did those couple strokes of paint there, and it ends up being a lot darker when you do it that way. So just play around with it and just keep adding the ink and the water together, and then just add some ink on its own, and then even just water. And if you find that you're getting areas that are too dark that you don't like, just add some extra water to those areas, and it will lighten the ink a bit and help it fade more into the paper. So I'm just going to speed it up here and continue to show. I just wanted to show the whole process of me painting it, and just that I add little bits here and little bits there, and until I get a look that I like. Because it's wood, I like the idea of having the darker areas where the knots and stuff are, just to give it a more realistic look and make those sections of the paper stand out a lot, because that's what gives the paper the character. So I just went ahead and kept painting and adding and putting water on, and you may have to add more of the ink to your craft sheet, because you end up using quite a bit of it. And then once you're all set, you can just go ahead and let that air dry or take it to your heat gun. So I just jumped ahead here, and this is my finished dry piece now. And you can see now with it completely dry how great the different areas of the wood look that take on the darker areas with the ink. And the shimmer from the Perfect Pearls that I added gives it a really great look. So this piece here is actually another piece that I did prior to this video, and instead of doing the brown wood, I used red distress inks to create this red piece. And I thought, since I had already done it, I'd do a quick little card here featuring it. So I took the red piece that I used. The distress inks were Festive Berries, which I used first, and then didn't really like the whole look of how that ink went on. It was more of a orangey look to me than the deep red I was going for. So I added some fired brick on top and ended up with that final piece. And then I went ahead and just die cut the new Simon Says Stamp Falling Hearts die out of that red piece, cut it into a thinner strip and adhered it to the front of a white card base, and then added some pool layering paper strips on either side. And now to finish off the card, I'm just going to add a little bit of stamping and die cutting. So I'm using I think it's the Hearts of Plenty set, or the Lots of Hearts set. It's one of the newer sets from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that onto a lighter pool coloring paper with wet cement ink, and die cut that with the dies that go with the stamp set. I also die cut the U, which is a new die that goes with this stamp set here that I'm just getting ready to pick a sentiment from. And I'm going to put that sentiment on a pre-cut banner that I also already cut it with my Big Shot and Nina White Solar cardstock. So the sentiment that I ended up choosing for the card was the "You Fill My Thoughts." I thought that would be a nice sentiment to go with the card design that I chose here. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this a couple times on scratch paper just to get it ready for my banner there that I've already pre-cut with my Big Shot. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that on there. It's always a good idea when you get new stamps to stamp them a couple times on a scratch piece of paper just to get them ready for your final projects. Just helps them stamp nicer. And now that I have all those pieces together, I'm just going to go ahead and adhere them to the card. The banner I adhered directly to the card base with adhesive, and then for the die cut heart I used dimensional adhesive to give that a little bit more dimension off of the card. And then to finish it off, I'm just going to go ahead and add the U die cut piece to the heart. I just used some mono multi glue to adhere that on. As you can see, it kind of popped off there. It stuck a little bit to my finger. But my idea was to keep this card design similar with the sentiment idea with the original card that inspired this video to be created. So I really like the U over the heart and then the sentiment banner kind of popping out there. And then on the end of the U, it was a little bit too long, so I ended up cutting a tiny bit of the U, or the little loop off of the end of the U there, so you could still see the fill word without anything covering it there. And then to finish it off, I just grabbed some little gems and added a couple onto the front of the card around the heart. And then that finished the card. Oh, and then I also rounded the corners. So anyways, I hope that shows you how I did this technique, and I hope you'll give it a try. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.